Hello and welcome, my dear friends. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for appearing for this year's UPSC prelims examination, which has just been held today. And I also wish you all the best for the result, which is going to come in few months' time. Let us talk about some of the questions which came from polity and economic sections. Some of the probable answers we are going to discuss. The first question that will pick up from your D set, that is your UPSC's question paper D set. The first question from the polity is question number 7. The question says that we adopted parliamentary democracy based on the British model, but how does our model differ from this model? I think you must be knowing that in India the Parliament has got certain limitations which is not there in case of the British Parliament. British Parliament is supreme or sovereign, we can say, but in India the Parliament doesn't have that kind of a sovereignty. So the first the option is a correct one, and the second one is also correct, because in India matters related to the constitutionality of the amendment of an act normally is referred to the Constitution bench by the Supreme Court, and therefore both 1 and 2, C is your correct answer of question number 7. Now next question from the polity section is 8, that is, with reference to the Union government, consider the following statements. In Gopalaswamy Iyengar committee suggested that a minister and a secretary be designated solely for pursuing the subject of administrative reform and promoting it. This is not the correct answer. The correct answer is this one. In 1970, the Department of Personnel and Training, that is DOPT, which was constituted on the recommendation of the Administrative Reforms Commission 1966, and which is basically placed under the Prime Minister's charge, and therefore option B is the right one. And then the next immediate question is question number 9, which talks about right to privacy. We all know that right to privacy is a part of right to life, which has been enshrined in Article 21. So this is a quite a straightforward question, which you will find in your book itself. So not much of a problem in this particular question. And the next question is, of course, a question which was which is a little bit tricky one, because it says that 3 statements have been given, and they are saying that which one of these 3 would be the correct one. So you see, the answer is basically B, that is the second one is the correct one. The first statement is wrong. In India, there is no law restricting the candidates from contesting in one Lok Sabha elections from 3 constituencies. There is a law. So therefore this is the wrong statement. And the third statement is also not correct one, where it is said that as per the existing rules, if a candidate contests in one Lok Sabha elections from many constituencies, his party should bear the cost of by-elections. That is not the right one. The party does not bear the election expenditure of that candidate. So the B one is the right answer. That is, in 1991 Lok Sabha election, Sri Devi Lal contested from 3 Lok Sabha constituencies. So this is all about the first part of question number 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th of page number 5 of section D, set D. Now we'll move on to the next question of the polity, that is question number 21. Question number 21. Now here it is about right to the city. In this particular question, option C is the right one, that is first statement and second statement. These two are the right statements. Here it is said, first statement says that right to the city is an agreed human right, and the UN Habitat monitors the commitments made by each country in this regard. And the second statement is also right, that is right to the city gives every occupant of the city the right to reclaim public spaces and public participation in the city. The third option is not the right one, because you can just look at the statement. The statement says that right to the city means that the state cannot deny any public service or facility to the unauthorized colonies in the city. So in one aspect, in one part of a statement says that it is unauthorized colonies in the city, And the top aspect of the top part of the sentence says that right to the city means that the state cannot deny. So if it is an unauthorized colonies in the city, then of course the state is going to deny. So therefore the statement third is the wrong one. So the right answer would be your option C, that is 1 and 2. Now let us move on to the question number 22. Question number 22 talks about judicial custody. Here the right answer would be B, that is 2 only. Second statement says during judicial custody the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate the suspect without the approval of the court, because it has gone to the jurisdiction of the court, and therefore it is beyond the reach of the police. Police cannot on its own go and make the interrogation over there unless and until court permits. So therefore the statement 2 is the right statement. And as far as the first statement is concerned, which is wrong one, it says that judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of the concerned magistrate, and such accused is locked up in police station, not in jail. So he is not locked up in police station. So therefore the statement 1 is the wrong one. So right answer of question 22 is B, that is 2 only. Now the next one is 23rd question, that is with reference to India. Consider the following statements. Here you see, when a prisoner makes out a sufficient case, parole cannot be denied to each prisoner because it becomes a matter of his right. This is a right statement. And the second statement is also right, that is state governments have their own prisoners release on parole rules. So therefore both 1 and 2 would be your right answer, that is option C is the right one. Then question number 24. This is a straightforward question. Here it says that at the national level, which ministry is the nodal agency to ensure effective implementation of the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act 2006? It is the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So this is a tricky one, because if you are not knowledgeable about this particular question, that you might take the option A, but option A is not the right answer. It would be option D. Question number 24, option D would be the right answer. Then you have got question number 25. The right answer is option A, that is Article 14. That is again a straightforward question from your book. It says that a legislation which confers on the executive or administrative authority an unguided and uncontrolled discretionary power in the matter of application of law violates which one of the following articles of the Constitution. So if you apply a law, and because of which two sections of the society or two persons in a society are getting different treatments, then that would definitely violate Article 14, because it talks about right to equality. So Article 14 would be the right answer, that is option A. 25, option A. Then question number 26, this is which one of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature that indicates that it is a federal in character. So whenever you talk about federal character of the Constitution, we normally talk about the balance between the state and the center, and the federal character of the Indian Constitution can be well understood by the second statement. You see, the Union legislature has elected representatives from constituent units. So from any states, a person can get elected, and he or she goes into the Indian legislature. So that person actually not only safeguards the national interest, but at the same time he or she protects the interest of the state as well. So the balance of the state and center gets protected, or gets it is maintained by this particular mechanism, where Union legislature has elected representative from constituent units of different states. So therefore this is B. Question number 26, right option would be B. Then you have got which one of the following best defines the term state. So you have been given 4 statements, and some of these statements are very close. So you can have different angles in understanding this particular question, but question number B would be the right option, because it says that it politically organized people of a definite territory and possessing an authority to govern them, maintain law and order, protect their natural rights, and safeguard their means of sustenance. So this would be a normal definition, very close definition of a state, although there may be some differences in opinions, but this one is actually the best definition of the state with this given 4 options. So question number 27, option B would be the right answer. Then let us move on to the next question, that is question number 28, which talks about, with reference to Indian judiciary, consider the following statements. The first statement you see is right one. Any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be called back to sit and act as a Supreme Court judge by the Chief Justice of India with prior permission of the President of India. So this is the first statement, that is the right one. The second one says the High Court in India has the power to review its own judgment as the Supreme Court does. Supreme Court does have this right of reviewing its own judgment. Over and again, Supreme Court has done this. You might have come across different cases where Supreme Court has overruled its own judgment and given a fresh judgment on different occasions in the history of Indian Constitution. And then, but as far as the second option is concerned, the High Court normally doesn't give its review judgment, although some of the High Courts in India have been given this kind of rights, but it's not for each and every High Court, and therefore the best answer would be question number 28A, that is one only. Then you have got the next question, that is, with reference to India, consider the following statements. There is only one citizenship and one domicile, so that's the right one. So A is the best answer. And second one, a citizen by birth only can become the head of the state, which is not true in case of India. Anybody can become the head of the state, and not necessarily that person has to be a citizen by birth. And then a foreigner, once granted the citizenship, cannot be deprived of it under any circumstances. So this is also not the right option. So A would be the best answer of question number 29. Now question number 30. Which one of the following factors constitute the best safeguard of liberty in liberal democracy? So here the best answer would be a committed judiciary, because if your liberty is disturbed, or if you are denied the liberty, then of course the judiciary will come up and safeguard your liberty. Now the next question is question number 41. Question number 41. Question number 41 says, under the Indian Constitution, concentration of wealth violates the DPSP, that is Directive Principle of State Policy. Straightforward question. That is, you have got those 39B and 39C, because this is talking about 39C of the DPSP. So if you are allowing people to have more wealth concentrated into the hands of few, then of course this is going to violate the Directive Principle of State Policy. So 41B would be the right answer. Then the next question is again a very straightforward one. It says, which is the position of the right to property in India? As on today, under Article 300A, right to property is a legal right available to any person. So 42B would be the right answer. Then the next one, again a very easy question, that is what was the exact constitutional status of India on 26th of January 1950? We had a sovereign democratic republic, and socialist and secular, these two terms were added later on, not not on 26th of January 1950. So 43B would be your right answer. Then 44th question, constitutional government means, of course it means that a government limited by the terms of the constitution. So and government is restricted by the constitutional provisions. The government doesn't have all the powers beyond constitution. It is always restricted by the constitution. So question number 44, answer would be D. Then question number 45, with reference to India, the terms Halbi, Ho and Kui pertain to tribal languages, that is D, 45D. And then again 46th question, consider the following statements in respect of Bharat Ratna and Padma awards. First statement is wrong one. You see the question says that which of the above statements are not correct. So the first statement, Bharat Ratna and Padma awards are titles. They are not titles under Article 18(1) of the Constitution. So first one is a straightforward a wrong statement. Second one is again a wrong one, that is Padma awards, which were instituted in the year 1954, were suspended only once. It was suspended twice in the history. So this is again the second option, that is a wrong one. And the third one is also a wrong answer, that is the number of Bharat Ratna awards is restricted to a maximum of 5 in a particular year. So therefore 1, 2, 3, all three are wrong statements. So answer is 46D. Then we have 51. Now we are going to start the economic section of the question paper. 51 question says the governor of the Reserve Bank of India is appointed by the central government. This is statement number 1. Statement 2 says certain provisions in the Constitution of India give the central government the right to issue directions to the RBI in public interest. And statement 3 says the governor of the RBI draws his power from the RBI Act. The right answer would be C, option C, that is 1 and 3 only. Second option is the wrong one. So right answer 51 C. Then you have got 52. 52nd question is with reference to casual workers employed in India, consider the following statements. We have to find out the right answers, right choices. The first statement, all casual workers are entitled for employees provident fund coverage. Yes, RBI has given this guideline. This is the right statement. Second statement is all casual workers are entitled for regular working hours and overtime payment. Of course, this is the right one, because on the moment you have the provident funds, obviously the second option has to be correct one. The third one is an option, basically that is not mandatory. The government can by notification specify that an establishment or industry shall pay wages only through its bank account. This is not mandatory, and therefore statement 3 is the wrong statement. So question number 52, right answer would be A, 1 and 2 only. Then we have got the question number 53, which says which among the following steps is most likely to be taken at the time of an economic recession. So it's a interesting one. The first option you see, cut in tax rates accompanied by increase in interest. So if you cut down tax, but it is not mentioning which particular tax, whether it is direct tax or indirect tax, and then even if cutting down tax of the direct nature increases the purchasing power of the people, and thereby maybe the economic recession will be tackled. But the second aspect, that is increase in interest rate, is going to go against the economic recession, because when you increase the interest rate, then obviously the private investment, private consumption will fall down, and therefore the economic recession will be much more serious. And therefore the option B is the right one, that is increase in expenditure on public projects, because economic recession means that people do not have the money to actually spend on, and therefore the moment government starts spending money on public projects, lot of money will be infused in the economy, and therefore economic recession will be tackled. This is one of the techniques by which economic recession is tackled. So question number 53, answer would be B. Then question number 54, consider the following statements. Other things remaining unchanged, market demand for a good might increase if price of a substitute increases. Yes, that is the right one, because if the price of coffee increases, then of course the demand for tea would also increase, because the tea would be comparatively cheaper as compared to coffee. And then the fourth option, its price falls. Whenever price falls, then the demand for that commodity increases, and therefore 54, option A, that is 1 and 4 only. Question number 55, with reference to urban cooperative banks in India, consider the following statements. First statement, they are supervised and regulated by local boards set up by the state government. This is not the right statement. It is actually supervised and regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. The second one is the right statement. They can issue equity shares and preference shares. And the third statement is also right, that is they were brought under the purview of the Banking Regulation Act 1949 through an Amendment Act in 1966. So question number 55, option B would be the right answer, that is 2 and 3 only. Then question number 56, it says Indian government bond yields are influenced by which of the following. The third option, you see, that's the only option which would be the right one, that is inflation and short term interest rates. That's going to definitely have its influence on Indian government bond yields. So question number 56, option C, that is third only, 3 only would be your answer. Then question number 57, consider the following. foreign currency convertible bonds, foreign institutional investment with certain conditions, global depository receipts, and non-resident external deposits. Question says which of the above can be included in foreign direct investment? Foreign institutional investment with certain conditions, yes, that would be included. And then the non-resident external deposits, that is the fourth one, that is also going to be included. So your answer would be question number 56, 7, C, 2 and 4. Then you have question number 58. Consider the following statements. The effect of devaluation of a currency is that it necessarily improves the competitiveness of the domestic exports in the foreign markets, increases the foreign value of the domestic currency, improves the trade balance. Question says which one is the correct one? See, question number 58, answer would be C, that is 3 only. It will definitely improve the trade balance, but question statement 1 may also be right, but the problem is that even if the you devalue a currency, it's not necessarily going to have its positive impact in the competitiveness of the domestic exports. It all depends on the other competitive factors which are relevant for making a particular domestic exports competitive. This is not the only option, only criterion which is normally taken into consideration. Therefore, the best answer would be question number 58, 3 only, that is C. And then we have got the next question, question number 59. Which one of the following effects of creation of black money in India has been the main cause of worry to the government of India? See, the option A says diversion of resources to the purchase of the real estate. Of course it is, but this is not the main cause of worry. That is the repercussions that will have because of black money. And then investment in unproductive activities and purchase of precious stones, jewelry. Of course this also happens, but this is again the impact of this particular aspect. Large donations to political parties, yes, this can also be a case, but this is again not the cause of worry. The most worrying factor is that government is losing out in its tax collection. So loss of revenue to the state exchequer due to tax evasion would be the best answer. That is question number 59, D would be your best answer. Then you have got question number 60. Which one of the following is likely to be the most inflationary in its effects? Number 1, repayment of public debt, borrowing from the public to finance a budget deficit, borrowing from the banks to finance a budget deficit, and creation of a new money to finance a budget deficit. Of course, D is the best answer, because in economics we all know that if you have got a real flow and which is backed up by the money flow, then of course that is okay. But if your real flow is not there, production of goods and services are not there, but there is only a money flow, creation of money, that would definitely put pressure on the economy, and inflationary trend can be seen. So question number 60, answer would be D. And then you have got question number 71. The money multiplier in an economy increases with which one of the following? You have got 4 options: increase in the cash reserve ratio in the banks, increase in the statutory liquidity ratio in the banks, and then increase in the banking habit of the people, increase in the population of the country. The best answer would be C, because the more the habit people develop with regard to the banking, the better would be the multiplier, because money will start multiplying, it will keep on exchanging hands, and therefore the best answer would be C. 71 question, answer would be C, increase in the banking habit of the people. Then we have got the question number 72. With reference to Indian economy, demand pull inflation can be caused or increased by which of the following? Whenever there is a demand pull inflation, so what all factors which will be responsible for increasing the demand, that would be seen. The first is expansionary policies. So if the government of India takes up expansionary policies, that means investing a lot in different areas and different developmental activities, then of course that will add more money into the economy, and therefore the demand will go up. Fiscal stimulus is another one, because fiscal stimulus means that giving some fiscal assistance to different projects and all. So therefore, this is also going to add a lot of money into the economy, and demand pull inflation will take place. So 1 and 2 of course would be there, and then you have got the high purchasing power, because if the purchasing power of the people is high, then of course the people will be buying more of the commodities, and therefore the demand pull inflation will take place because of 1, 2 and 4, that is A, 1, 2 and 4. Question number 72A, 1, 2 and 4. Then we have got question number 73, which talks about, with reference to India, consider the following statements. Retail investors through demat accounts can invest in treasury bills and Government of India debt bonds in primary market. Yes, this is a right statement. And the second one, the negotiated dealing system order matching is a government securities trading platform of the Reserve Bank of India. Yes, of course, this is the right one. The third statement is the wrong one, that is the Central Depository Services Limited is jointly promoted by the Reserve Bank of India and the Bombay Stock Exchange. So therefore, question number 73 answer would be B, 1 and 2. Then we have got question number 74, with reference to water credit, consider the following statements. First statement is it puts a microfinance tool to work in the water and sanitation sector. So that's the first statement. Yes, right one. Second one, it is a global initiative launched under the aegis of the World Health Organization and the World Bank. This is a wrong statement. And the third statement is it aims to enable the poor people to meet their water needs without depending on subsidies, and it's a right statement. So therefore, question number 74 answer would be C, 1 and 3 only. Then we have got question number 75. In India, the central bank's functions as the lender of the last resort usually refers to which of the following? You see, the word usually is very important. When it is used usually, that means normally we lender of the last resort, we associate this particular phrase with the banks only, commercial banks and the central bank, and therefore the option B, that is 2 only, will be the right one, providing liquidity to the banks having a temporary crisis. First and third statements are the wrong statements. So we have got just question number 75, 2 only, that is B, 75, option B. That's all we have for this this year's questions paper, from this year's questions paper, polity and economic sections. I hope this little piece of information will help you, and all the best for